This morning, our worship leader is Russ Myer, physical therapist, PhD, CAS, all of the initials, executive director of Capital Region Nordic Alliance, and a recipient of the Four Chaplains Legion of Honor Humanitarian Award. And he's going to speak with us today about the Four Chaplains. It's going to be
I guess we could have just skipped to the very last sentence to think about others. And it just hits such a chord to me and a lot of my colleagues with where we're at today in so many facets of our lives to focus so much on the community and each other versus um, ourselves. And that's what these four chaplains, four very different men, um, practiced with each other up until the final minutes. Um, the pictures that are behind me come from the chapel. We are going to host, for the first time ever in the United States, an international event working with those with disabilities at the chapel in the Navy Yard. And Executive Director Kemmer gladly provided the original pictures from the chapel for you to see, uh, as well as a poster that they use that they are donating to the Unitarian Universalist Society for you to display. What I'd like to do is to kind of go over these four individuals and go a little bit beyond their faith. They were all different, but they were all very human and very genuine and sincere in their beliefs that ultimately led to their union and their fateful act that lives on today. Hello? Okay. So as I say, these are the original pictures that were provided to the chapel shortly, or when it was started on Temple University in 1951. The first gentleman is Chaplain George Fox, the Methodist, and he practiced in a small town in Vermont, Waits River, close to the New Hampshire border, I believe. And right now they have located it and they're trying to refurbish it as a historical uh, building to accompany the chapel located at the Navy Yard. He was the oldest of four. He lied about his age in 1917 to enlist in World War I, and he was awarded a number of medals for his valor on the battlefield. The Croix de Guerre for outstanding bravery, and also the Purple Heart. He was a resident of Vermont. He was also a successful accountant and, like so many, heard the calling of God to serve. And he went back to school and he was ordained into the Methodist denomination. When the war came, he once again enlisted, telling his wife that I have to go. I know from experience what our boys are about to face, and they need me. So that was George Fox from Vermont, one of the four famous chaplains. The second one is Chaplain Rabbi Alexander Good. And I read the prayer for his eulogy after his passing and the sinking of the Dorchester. He was an outstanding athlete and scholar, followed in his father's footsteps. He was known for his laughter and his love of life in becoming a rabbi. He joined the National Guard while in his training, and he was particularly struck by the tomb of the unknown when they brought the body of the unknown soldier to Arlington. He walked the 30 miles with the casket. And after that point in time, he devoted himself to the ministry as a rabbi. He worked as a synagogue. He worked and practiced in a synagogue in York, Pennsylvania, when the war broke out, and that was his last calling before his trip on the Dorchester. Chaplain Clark Poling, some of you may know, his last assignment was in Schenectady at the First Reformed Church in the Stockade. So a short distance from here, the First Reformed Church has a memorial room for chaplain polling, and for me and for many in the area, this is a very, very close and meaningful connection. He had 7 generations had been ordained in the Dutch Reformed Church prior to Reverend Poling. And when it came for his calling as a chaplain, he simply stated, "I'm not going to hide behind the church in some safe office out of the firing line," he told his father. "Don't you know that?" And his father replied that chaplains have the highest mortality rate of any portion in the armed services. And as a chaplain, you'll have the best chance of being killed because they do not carry any firearms as they serve those that have been wounded. So at that point in time, he left his pastorate in Schenectady and finished his training and went to the Dorchester. A profound expression that is quoted is that right before he left on the Dorchester, he told his father not to pray for my safe return. That would not be fair. Just pray that I shall do my duty. Never be a coward and have the strength, courage, and understanding of men. Just pray that I shall be adequate. He started his service on June 10th, 42, until the sinking February 3rd and 43. And the last of the 4 was John P. Washington, a Catholic priest in Newark, New Jersey. One of 9 children born into an Irish immigrant family, he was blessed with a sunny disposition, a beautiful singing voice, and a love for music. Oddly enough, he loved a good fight and was the leader of a number of gangs in Newark until, fortunately, he found his calling. And he actually used his ordained priesthood to actually transform and make the gangs what they truly could be in a positive way. He started his training on May 9th, 1942, and it is noted that when the Dorchester was going down, his voice was the loudest. It was the most encouraging. It was the most reassuring to those veterans that were in the ice-cold, oil-laden water off of the Dorchester. So it's 4 chaplains of very diverse backgrounds, which is the point that as diverse as they were, they all came together in a single calling. Different religions, different perspectives, different backgrounds meant nothing as much as the common purpose to serve one and all for the interreligious and interfaith cooperation and selfless service, regardless of circumstance. And for what I'll do, and I'll let you all know in a few minutes about Capital Region Nordic Alliance and what we do in our small way for those veterans that we serve. They are a constant daily inspiration that, at least for me and my colleagues and those veterans that we work with, really do the very best we can for them each and every day in honor of these 4 very different but wonderful chaplains.